workshop from this week. This winter we had our first Keiki workshop that we've had in a very long time. They made their set. My 5 to 7-year-olds made their turtles, they've made their whales, they've painted and glued sand, they've come up with an idea for a volcano, they've made a special quilt for Santa to sleep with when he comes to visit later. They made their ocean. Everything in this show was written for them, about them, and about living in Hawaii and how special it is to live in Kona. So they also made sandcastles, which I need to move right now. So in just a moment I'll bring out my Keiki, and the name of the show that you'll be watching is Santa's New Year Kona Keiki. Once upon a time, not that long ago, there were 7 Kona Keiki. Their names were Manami, Kaya, Ivory, Sarah, Gavin, Shay, and of course Sebastian. It was December 30th and the year was 2012. Christmas had just finished its yearly visit to Kona, and now the Keiki were playing on the beach. They were munching pineapples. They made sand castles. And they played with turtles, but they didn't touch them because that's not allowed. And they surfed. And they even loafed. And they talked about how fun Christmas had been that year. Christmas was awesome, said Sarah. Manami was excited. I got so many apps for Christmas. Kaya asked Manami, what's an app? Sebastian replied, you know, for the phone. Ivory chimed in, like games. Shay nodded, you can email us some apps too. Manami was still eager to talk about her apps. At $1 a piece, my dad said that's easy enough. Sebastian asked Kaya, what was your favorite part of Christmas? Kaya smiled and said, Ivory liked that answer. Did you actually get to see him this year, she said? Ivory mentioned. He ate the cookies I left for him. Manami asked, what kind of cookies? Kaya said, Sarah said, I baked him some chocolate chip. Gavin said, he ate the gingerbread me and my mom made. And Shay added, I left carrots for the reindeer. Sebastian cheered, I left Rudolph apples. He loves apples. Ivory chirped, I wonder what Santa does after Christmas. Sebastian was eager to add to this new thought. I wonder what Rudolph does. Manami said, I suppose he goes on vacation, like us. Kaya said, yes, we get vacation from school. And Sarah said, Santa should get vacation from the toy shop. Gavin said, it's really cold at the North Pole. He should come to Hawaii. The other 6 Keiki looked at him. It's like a light bulb went off. What a great idea, said Let's invite Santa to Kona. Kaya looked concerned. Sebastian said, then we have to hurry. Sarah suggested, let's send him an email. We have to hurry, said Sebastian. They all sat there for a minute. Finally, Sarah spoke. Did anyone get a laptop for Christmas? They all sat there for a minute. Ivory finally sighed. Well, it sounded like a good idea. Shay said, the lines at the post office are still pretty long. Sarah pointed out, he might not get a letter in time. Ivory had an idea. Maybe the whales could carry a letter for us.
Maybe the whales can carry a letter for us.
So they went to ask the whales if they would carry a letter. Gavin thought about this. Nah, he said, the whales are swimming here for the new year. They wouldn't want to turn around once they got here. Just then, Manami jumped up. My apps! I left them on the sand. We can email Santa. Sebastian cheered. Hooray! Tell your dad if Santa comes, I owe him $1. So the Kona Keiki sat down to email Santa, and they wrote this invitation together. Dear Santa, we would really, really like it if you spent your vacation here in Kona. We promise to be good all year long. And we can probably get you the Kama'aina rate at the King Cam Hotel. Please RSVP.
Yeah, because Uncle Billy charged full price.
With love, your favorite Kona Keiki. Minami looked at the others. Well, here's hoping. And she tapped send. And so the Kona Keiki waited. They applied more sunscreen while they waited. And it didn't take very long for Santa Claus to reply. What was that? Asked Sarah. Look, squealed Minami. He answered our email. They all sat down to read it. Dear Kona Keiki, thank you for the lovely invitation. I would love to visit Hawaii. It's really cold here at the North Pole. I love the snow. But it would be nice to be warm. But I already got invited to Maui. The Keiki of Maui said they have really good whale watching. But thanks anyway. Aloha, Santa. Sarah said, how dare he? Sebastian stood up. Is he kidding? Sarah sighed. Well, that's that. Ivory said, well, it sounded like a good idea. Shay said, looks like some other Keiki had our good idea first. Gavin said, maybe Maui has a faster post office. Manami wrinkled her nose. I doubt it. But Manami also had other ideas. Hold on, not so fast. Exactly. Ivory said she's right. Sebastian chimed in. Sure, you can see them from the Fairwind. And Kaya kept going. And from the beach? And Shay said, from Sequest? can even see Alaskan whales from my house. They all looked at her. What? So they all sat down around the apse one more time, and this is what they wrote. Dear Santa, thank you for your prompt reply. We have come up with 3 reasons for you to come to Kona instead of Maui. The first reason is we have whales here in Kona too. The second reason is there's a lot to see, hear, and do. And the third reason is they stopped talking for a moment, and the Keiki looked confused. They continued the letter. We forgot what the third reason is. But if you come to Kona, we promise to have a special surprise for you. We are amazing Keiki. We're from Kona. We can make anything happen. Aloha. Your favorite Kona Keiki. Minami clicked send. They all stared at the app. It seemed like an eternity. Just then Minami saw the reply. He answered, she cheered. Dear Keiki, I will stop by on my way to Maui. It might be nice to visit 2 islands. I can't wait to see my surprise. See you tomorrow night. Aloha, Santa. Ivory said, well, now we have to come up with a surprise. Sarah said, we only have 1 day. Kaya whispered, shh, he can hear you. Minami said, well, the surprise was Sebastian's idea. Gavin chimed in, got more bright ideas? Sebastian grinned. As a matter of fact, yes. Rainbows. Sarah said, ooh, rainbows are bright. All the Keiki looked confused. What's he talking about? Minami grinned and nodded. I think I know. But first we have to get ready. Shay said, he's coming to occupy Kona. Gavin explained, we have a lot of work to do. So the Kona Keiki went to work. They told the whales to tell Santa that they were ready. They wanted the whales to greet him when they arrived. They made a special Kona quilt so that Santa would have something warm to sleep with at night. Admittedly, Sebastian thought this was odd at first, but it's already warm in Hawaii, he said. He won't need a quilt. Ivory said, I don't know, it's been getting kind of cold at night. Kaya nodded, I need an extra blanket myself. Minami said, yes, but 70 degrees is so hot compared to the North Pole. Sarah said, good point. Shay then added, so then why are we making this quilt? Gavin answered, just in case. It's always nice to have a clean blanket for company. Kaya stopped sewing. She looked concerned. What if he misses the snow? Sebastian was beside himself with excitement. That's the surprise! Ivory said, will someone please translate? Sarah looked at Sebastian. He's about to pop. Sebastian said, simple. Everyone knows that Kona Keiki are amazing. Manami grinned. We can do anything. Sarah said, yeah, we're pretty awesome. Kaya began to understand. I think I get it, the rainbow. Just then Ivory understood. I get it, let's do it.
I get it, let's just do it.
Shay said, Sebastian, where do we go to make this stuff?
Where do we go to make this stuff?
Sebastian said, Aloha Theater, of course. That's where magic happens. Manami smiled and said, theater's where anything can happen. So they went to Aloha Theater. And there they found a magic box full of colorful stuff, sparkles and amazing things that they mixed up with their imagination and just mixed it up in a special box. That's right, a plain old cardboard box. Ivory smiled and said, it's nice to know that a box can be more than a box. And so right there in Aloha Theater, the New Year Keiki prepared their special surprise for Santa. And when they were done, they took it to the beach. They took it to the beach. Go. They kept making it, and then they took it to the beach. And they waited. And pretty soon it grew dark. And all they had was the moon and the stars to keep them company. They had worked very hard all day and all night. And they were tired, so they laid down to sleep. And while they slept, they dreamt of Santa. Rudolph, whales, mongooses, wild turkeys, apes, turtles, flowers, palm trees. All the things that make Hawaii truly special. All the things that make Hawaii home. Suddenly Gavin woke up. He sat up and asked, do you think Santa will know where to land? Kaya said, he's pretty smart. He'll figure it out. Manami rolled over. We should probably keep an ear open. And Sarah added, that's the only polite thing to do. Ivory wondered out loud, has he ever been to Hawaii when it's not Christmas? And Shay said, I'm sure he has a GPS. Sebastian dismissed these concerns. Rudolph knows the way. Still, the thought had not previously occurred to the Keiki that Santa might get lost. So they just sat there and worried. But just then they heard something. Bells. It was Santa. Kaya pointed to the sky. Look! Ivory said, oh, I hope he doesn't crash. And just then there was a loud thud. Keiki covered their faces. Oh no! Santa had crash landed on the beach. The Keiki hid. They didn't want to spoil their surprise, so they hid behind the volcano. It was still dark, and they knew this #1 Santa rule, no peeking. And just like that, Santa appeared. Santa said to himself, pretending not to know that the Keiki were listening, well, it's getting late.
Well, it's getting late.
It's almost midnight.
It's almost midnight.
I guess I'd better rest before I leave for Maui.
Oh, I guess I better rest before I leave for Maui.
Sebastian opened his mouth. A fellow Keiki covered it before he could say anything. And Santa lay down on the beach, and he fell asleep. The Keiki covered Santa with their special quilt, and they kept watch over him that night. Everyone else in Kona was celebrating with horns and noisemakers. But the Keiki covered Santa's ears so the celebration wouldn't wake him. They shushed the Koki frogs, and they stayed by Santa's side all night long. Manami was the only one who spoke at one point. Isn't it ironic, she said? Sebastian added, we're awake. And they continued to guard Santa. Until when the sun began to rise up over Mauka. Look, whispered Kaya. She pointed at the sun. It's morning, said Sarah. The Keiki started to hop around Santa. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. It's New Year's, it's New Year's. Kona Keiki bounced and trounced around Santa, Santa slowly began to wake up. Was he dreaming? All these Keiki. Look at Malka, it's your surprise. So Santa looked up, and just then it started to snow. Rainbow snow. Santa exclaimed, rainbow snow. Well, I'll be a monkey's uncle. And it just kept snowing. Gavin said, we wanted you to feel at home. Ivory said, we know how much you love the snow. Sarah said, we even got you a blanket in case you're cold. And Kaya said, we didn't want you to go anywhere else. Sebastian said, it was all my idea. Santa said, where did you amazing Keiki ever find rainbow snow?
Where did you amazing Keiki ever find rainbow snow?
Minami said, there's an app for that. And where did you learn to make this beautiful quilt, asked Santa? Shay said, the lady at the quilt shop. Sarah said, at the King Camp Mall. Kaya asked Santa, will you stay? Sarah said, will you occupy Kona for New Year's? Santa looked around at the bright shining faces of all the special Kona Keiki. And he said, of course I will.
Of course I will.
Where else would I go?
Where else would I go?
Ivory said, I thought you said maybe Maui. Santa laughed. I was teasing.
I was teasing.
I planned to come to Kona all along.
I planned to come to Kona all along.
That was my special surprise for you.
That was my special surprise for you.
Minami grinned and said, I knew it. Sebastian danced around. We did it! We negotiated! Santa picked up a Keiki in his arms. I believe the water is a comfortable 70 degrees.
I believe the water is up to 70 degrees.
Who's up for swimming?
Who's up for swimming?
So Santa and his beloved Kona Keiki headed down the beach to celebrate New Year together. It was the best New Year's in Kona ever. Happy 2012. Keiki, let's take a bow. You earned that. Thank you, Keiki.